Hey, everybody. Welcome. And today we're doing another Facebook Live for you. I have Jess Hop. She's going to try and come back here in a second because we were having this awesome, wonderful chat. And then the program decided to kick her off and make her come in again. So here we go. Jess Hop is coming back in. We are live with her. And there she is. And hopefully we have sound. Hi, Jess.
Hi. Hi. Good morning.
Yeah, we do.
Good afternoon, wherever you are in the world.
Jess is, Central Time in Wisconsin in the Green Bay area. So hello.
I'm in Packer country.
Welcome.
Packer country. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Cool. Our pleasure. Because today we're going to be talking with Jess about online courses, and really a little bit of our discussion so far is how we could be presenting ourselves as an expert when we go to launch said courses. Jess, first of all, give them a quick snapshot of who you are, your company, the Planner Collective, and your work in this area.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much. So, like you said, I'm in the Midwest here in the States, and I love events and just being online. So my evolution to helping businesses with their courses and their online marketing has really come out of like a passion for helping people scale and grow online. So my background is event planning, in-person event planning, corporate events, and even so I was doing that for the past 2 years. And in this summer, I saw such a shift and such a change in our industry, even before COVID. And so I've always been growing my business and really like trying out what it's like to be online and be visible for myself. I've gone through like this whole discovery of who I am and what I am passionate about. And so my business started helping coaches, small businesses, folks who really wanted to like use their knowledge in order to leverage passive income, leverage their expertise. And so we started helping them bring these events, because that's what it is. It's an event online. And so,
right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Totally
bringing the best. That's what I love what you're about. You're about bringing the best forward.
Yeah.
We agreed. Like there's so many, whether you want to dive into speaking, coaching, consulting, anything. It's about knowing your genius and, knowing what of yourself to put in a course, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's a whole pre-discussion. But I just like the level of quality and where you start. So I like that you ask a lot of questions, as I do, before you go ahead and jump into this world of online courses. And you're not one of these people that is on the line going, you can put anything on a course and make $100,000, right?
No.
That starts for you. That's not where it starts for me. And I think we really connect on that. So we're going to have a really nice discussion today.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. We will try to do about 30-35 minutes, and got lots of things to cover. But I think that first I'd like to ask a little bit about those who have I know there's people in this group, guys, that you're thinking about launching your first course. Some of you have already done some work with myself or through our course. Some of you are already in that sphere of work, and you want to shift maybe from speaking to courses. But if you're thinking of selling your first course, Jess is going to really help you. So let's talk first about niching, Jess, and what can you help us from your perspective understand about that, what you call your zone of genius?
Yes. Yeah. I love that we use the same terminology, Amanda, and this is so cool. So, and we're in different countries. I think that's the coolest part about finding people online is like, you just resonate with people right off the bat. And so I'm sure the folks watching, they have clients like that, where it's just like, you speak the same language and you're in different countries, different time zones. So I think that's really cool. But yes, having your zone of genius, that's been like the biggest thing for me to see from clients. And even in my own business, it's like the phrase broad is broke. That is 100% accurate. If you are trying to serve everyone, you are serving no one, because you're being pulled in different directions. And like, you as a business owner kind of like feel chaotic, or you lose your direction when you're trying to help everybody figure out what they need to do, versus really niching down and knowing that. And I think so much of it comes from our energy. Like when you feel right about something, your energy is right there with it. And if your energy is drained, or you feel tired, or you feel like it's a drag to continue to do it, that's not right for
Mm-hmm.
you, right? And so just
Mm-hmm.
zoning into that passion helps you even further zone into your niche or your niche. So I think
Yeah,
that's the
it's
first thing that I
scary to
look
do
at.
that work though.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it is so scary to really zone in and be like, I'm serving XYZ. But there's so much
Mm-hmm.
power in that, because when you really find the
Mm-hmm.
people that you resonate with and work with, like I'm even finding that in my own business, like who I really gravitate towards and who I really work best with. And I think that's okay, because then
Yeah.
there's somebody else out there who probably would serve somebody in a better way that I couldn't. And it's just really knowing that and being okay with that. And I'm so
Oh yeah.
impact driven, right? I'm so impact driven that I'm like, if there's somebody out there who just you vibe with so much better, I think that's awesome, right? And then the way that the universe works, it'll just bring other people in, and it'll make space and room for people that you're really supposed to be with. So I know that's kind of like a high level on niche, but I really think there's so much power in us really standing in what we enjoy doing, what we attract, and then we can dig into that as experts and see if that's a good fit.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, and it's we had that discussion about some people just sometimes people, they feel like I'm just gonna try this course, and then they're
Mm,
pinning all their hopes on hope this resonates. Should I put
yes.
everything I know into this and hope to make that 100K?
Right.
It's a
Right.
big gamble, but I
Yep.
also understand that if you don't do the work of figuring out what you're best at, yeah, not only will you
Mm,
not land what I teach, which is the expert interviews, the bigger gigs, the paid gigs, but it's
mhm.
I love you said about clients. The work I do with clients is the least stress of my week.
Yes.
Like remember when
Yes.
work was like stressful?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no,
I do.
because I know nobody does this like me. So I
Yep.
can I can zone in and care for that person.
Hmm.
Bring them to the other side. So
Yeah.
cool. You can
Yeah.
still do the other stuff, but really, so knowing your niche in a course, what is that going to look like in a course? So are you saying
Hmm.
you get super specific? Could you give me an example of like a too broad of a topic for a title of a course versus a great topic?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So I have a client right now. She's a massage therapist. She's in Michigan, here in the States, and she's like one of the top massage therapists in her region. And so she really wants to help other massage therapists broaden their expertise in one specific area of massage that not a lot of people utilize in their practice. And she's really become
Okay.
the expert in her area, in that it's called trigger point therapy. I don't expect anyone to know that, but I've learned a lot. And so she came to us and she's like, I really want to do this. I see such a need in my industry with other massage therapists. They're coming to me asking me how to do this, how to talk about it with clients. So in that way, she's really going from like the one-on-one conversations with massage therapists to one to many, right? So
Yes.
she already knew that she had an amazing, she people are coming to her even before a course is started. I think that's a really good indicator,
Yeah,
right?
and you know what you're pointing out, which is so great. I want everyone listening here to hone in on something. What she did, or what Jessica helped her do, or however you see it, is this woman, the massage therapist. She's teaching other massage therapists.
Mm-hmm.
Such a good point, guys. When
Mm-hmm.
you have a specialty, you have to evaluate: is it worth trying to educate and convince the
Mm.
consumer to make a direct purchase from me? So I have to go out and I have to teach everyone what is trigger point therapy and why it's better.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's work. And
Yeah.
that's why people get so stuck. You're just bringing up a great point. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go on
Yeah.
with it. But it's,
Yep.
would you spend the time convincing, educating, tutorials, comparing yourself to other different types of massage therapy just to get those people in your door? why don't you be the expert for the other massage therapists? It's maybe a more refined group, as you're saying, Jess, but it's a larger price point. Number one, you know, other professionals will pay more to get a level of certification if you're the expert in that. Yeah, love that. That's great.
Yeah.
That's exactly, guys, what courses can do when you're ready.
Yeah, and even to her point,
that's a great idea.
To her point, she's like, I have a full practice. I'm opening another practice, and I really want to serve and help these massage therapists who don't know how to serve in this way, but she doesn't have the energy or the time to devote to one-on-one calls or like a one-on-one coaching practice, right? So she's already getting the little notes of like, how do you do this? Or could you tell me how to do this? Or I've seen you do XYZ. So she was getting those little flags for her. So now she knows, okay, this is really packageable, sellable content. And so, yeah, am I cutting out?
Are you good?
Yeah. Oh, I think so. Are you good? Am I cutting out?
Okay. Now you're good.
Okay, good.
It was just cutting out, but it's all good. I'll go like this when it's happening. I don't know if I'm not cutting out. It's just every so often, but we're totally getting everything else you're saying. And I think to reiterate, your point was by being the expert, the other work will come, guys. Like, you know what I mean? Of course, they're going to hire you for XYZ. If you specialize in A and B and C, of course, you're going to know how to do the other stuff. So it's another great way to narrow in. Love that. I'm going to move on to a call to action. If we could speak about that, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Or not quickly, but briefly. And about in a course, what are some things we need to consider? And I really hope we have some good connection here, because the stuff you're giving us is gold here.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me switch.
Oh, switch networks? Yeah, that might be a good idea. Hopefully you don't get kicked off, but if you do, we know you'll be right back. She's going to try and switch to a higher broadband network, I think. It worked on our phone conversation, so hopefully it's going to work here. Can you guys? Yeah, I think the broadcast. If I pop in Facebook, there she is.
Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to like figure out the best Wi-Fi to be on.
Movement.
Am I here?
Okay, it's out and in. I hope we can get you fully back. This was so good. I don't want this chat to end. I wonder if you should come out and back in. And then I can go over your main points. Okay, so we're bringing her back in. Hey, hey.
Am I here?
Hey, hey there.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Sorry, you guys. Technology.
Yeah, thank you guys for your patience. So
yes.
Doesn't matter who. That's why I feel okay, because it literally happens to everyone I watch. So I don't feel that bad.
We're here.
We're saying
call to action. Yeah.
Call to action in a.
So I find that so many, like, there's so much amazing content out there, and then I read it and I'm like, oh my gosh, tell me more. And then the call to action isn't there, and it just like leaves flat. And so I think it's so important to have a really streamlined journey and a call to action for people to be able to know, okay, where are we going with this conversation? What journey are you taking me on? That's what I really love about calls to action. And if you're not sure about calls to action, personally, I have a little list of calls to action that I use in my own content. And so if you're confused on like, what do I tell people? I think booking a discovery call or booking something with me is, a really great call to action. Join my Facebook group, read my blog. So just having ones like that kind of like on the ready to use for your content is really great. And then when you're putting a course together, you're always streamlining people into either your email list, you're having them download a lead magnet, or something of value that you can give to them and keep that conversation going. Or my favorite is a Facebook group, right? Having people in, like what Amanda's doing here, having a Facebook group is incredible, because you can actually get to know somebody who put together the course, or who is a coach, or it's just like that one level closer to somebody, which is really, it's gold.
Yeah, I would venture to say, yeah, I would venture to say, if you have a plan, like, don't bother.
Yeah.
That's a really good statement. Then why would you invest in working with someone like me or us? Because you're here to make it happen. So let's make sure we know what that happen is. And you're saying the same thing. It's a better investment and use of your time and money. So streamline the journey, put all the work in, time, set it all up, and then launch the course.
Yeah. Yep.
What can you tell us about the importance of gaining an audience? So this we could probably have a whole show on, but coming across like a pro, and I'd say, maybe I'll qualify this too, getting the audience that you want.
Yeah. Yep. Again, like you and I were talking about feeling really, before this we went on live, we were talking about feeling really chaotic, and working with people who have a lot of different ideas, and working with very visionary people. I tend to work with people who are very high level in their business, and like, this is where I want to go. I want to create this course. I want to create this program. I want to create this retreat. But like, the details are really kind of overwhelming to them, because they're so visionary. And so really locking into, I like to do 3 main focus points on what the conversation needs to be with your audience. What are people going to know you for? And maybe you have a method too, Amanda, but like, having 3 points, you're going to find somebody who resonates with one of those. Because if you always speak into one thing, you might lose people. And then if you have like 10 things that you want to talk about, that's too many. People get overwhelmed and then they zone out. So what's really important, and what I've seen work so well with gaining an audience, launching a product or a program, is having those 3, and I call them buckets, having 3 buckets of content, and then utilizing your calls to action in different ways, and changing them out. And so in order to gain the audience that you're looking for, you really need to talk to them in a really focused, authentic way, really vulnerable. Like, that's really where I see a lot of movement with my clients, is when they actually step out and they are human. They're like, I'm a mom, I have a family, or here's what, I'm coming up against today. People resonate with people, like, people buy from people. And so I don't know why we hide that.
And it's important though too, because I think even people in this group, that might be easier for a certain group of people. And I know a lot of people haven't made the connection with vulnerability in my business. For me, it took a while too. But the difference is, if you're going, there's 2 things. There's B2C, right? Business to customer. It's really easy to hit them on emotion if you have a B2C product. When you have a B2B product and you need to come across as this to this group of other professionals, it's really hard to find, but where's the humanity in that? Because they just need to get their widgets polished. There's no, I know the problem and I know to fix it, but what you're tapping into is that there is always a human element to the pain that people have in the office, at their desk, with their teams, and it feels like something. And I'm getting a little deep into this. Probably it's a whole other episode, but that's what you're tapping. That's what she's tapping into, guys. Is the finding your audience is really understanding their pain point.
Yeah.
So, and then I believe what you're saying is there's tools. So when you launch courses in your program, Jess, or through the Planner Collective, I guess, when you help them successfully, what you're doing is helping them choose different platforms on which to launch, because certain marketing platforms are going to do better than others depending on the course. Isn't that right?
Oh yeah, 100%. And you know, we've gotten to the point where we really love certain tools and we know that they work and we know the userability of them. So like we also think about the user experience. How is the person taking the course feeling about the tools? Is it overwhelming? Am I using too many? Because the one thing that we found when I started doing this is if you try and skimp or go like kind of the I'm going to use this platform because it's free, or I'm going to use this one because it's only X amount of dollars a month, the customer userability and experience dramatically decreases. Like that's just what it is. And so we really love to use Kajabi. That's really what we specialize in for course launches, or ConvertKit, just because it's like all in one and it's a standalone product and people can really use it and experience it in a great way. So yeah, there are tools like that where we found they've worked so much better than kind of like piecemealing, if that makes sense.
Yes. Okay. And usability is another way that people are going to respond very well to your course, attract more like-minded folks.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. So, and I think we've already answered part of this question too, is in the first one, which is having your niche nailed down. We already discussed a lot about that audience and the importance of you won't specialize in anything unless you're focusing in on that one niche pain point. And I know people know that. It's the process of which to get to that they have trouble with.
Yeah.
Which is what I do, a lot of work in that side of things as well. What about we'll move on to other content. I really want to talk about this. When you're launching a successful course, when it comes to other content, okay, do you, like I'm coming across as an expert, do you have to have, the book, the white paper, the files of other content that points to why they should take this course from you? What are your thoughts on that?
So are you talking more external marketing or within the course itself?
Yeah, outside of the course, in order to have a successful launch, do I, as an expert, does it benefit me to have, or not, does it even matter, to have those extra things of, well, I got to write a book first, or no one's going to take my course seriously. Speaking to credibility.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
The credibility piece.
Yeah. So and it just goes back to the conversation that we've had about audience, and the terminology that I use is audience and community. I think they're really interchangeable because you're building that vulnerability with them. You're bringing them inside, you're letting them get to know you, you're getting to know them. I think community is the first place to look. Your audience is the first place to look. What are they looking for from you? And I don't really think necessarily, like you need a book first and then you need a podcast and then you can do a course.
Right.
I really think like that my massage therapist client, she knows what her audience needs, and they're already telling her those little like nuggets of, well, how do you do this? And if I were to do this, what would you do? It really depends on hearing, listening, and talking to your audience. Like, there's and I'm not like, no judgment here, no judgment at all. But I have coaches come to me and other businesses who are like, I want to launch a course about XYZ. What do you think? And I'm like, well, what I think doesn't really matter. Like, have you talked to your audience or your people? And they're like, well, no, I think this idea would work. And so like, to me, that's a little bit of like, okay, there's something off there. And we need, as business owners, to be active participants in our business. And it's okay. It's scary to talk to another person about your business. You're not selling to them though. You're actually talking to them as a human and getting to know them as a human and what their pain points are. So as much as
essentially, yeah, go on.
And I was just wrapping it up to say, it's not really about the thing. It's never about the thing. It's not about the podcast. It's not about the book. And I'm sure people are like, Jess, you're crazy. But it's never the thing. It's the human interaction that you get to know from another person, and that conversation that really pulls people in. It's the enrolling versus convincing Because I think that's a big conversation.
Convincing. That's it. It's actually one of the first of the shifts in a webinar that I deliver. And the speaking and the stage and the thing, all that is the it's not the end result, it's the means. And yes, we all want successful courses and successful careers. It's interesting because you're saying, well, the other stuff, the content, the expert content really doesn't matter that much. Actually, my second shift is write less, think more. Like, don't think about it's going to be end all be all. In fact, think really hard about why you're writing this. However, and you're touching on that, saying, again, there's assumption that you're building a community. I know, so your approach is very much about build a community, understand their pain. It's coming from a much more personal approach, and build a course for your audience. Of course,
while you're learning.
Okay. And there's other approaches. Whereas if you could go broader. So it's a bigger risk. If you go and build something you think more people might and maybe will need and slap a fancy title on it, I think those are the courses that they launch really, really big, and then you don't see anything else from that person. So it's that fluff. So what has happened? They have no foundation. They have no community that they built. So it's kind of like, okay, go try that. Go try the big splashy launch, but are you going to do that again and again and come up with the next new thing? Or are you going to build a community of raving fans about what you believe and you value, or your one big idea, as I call it, your big disruptive message, and educate them on that, or there is another way type of thing. But so other content.
Thank you for pointing that out. There's a difference, and like no judgment. I think both approaches, it just depends on your goal. What is your goal? Are you looking for the short-term quick passive income, or are you looking long-term impact community, right? And I think that's okay. There's different ways that we all run our business. And so thank you for pointing that out, because I'm much more community focused.
So if you have any questions too, guys, I know people that have started courses, or there are even trainers listening right now. So if you do have questions, get them in the chat. Hopefully it's fast enough, it'll just pop right up if we see them in here. But really, we're going to wrap up shortly, but I wanted to chat about kind of top rookie mistakes. So if you are launching a course, what are some things that you see people doing that just make you cringe and go, oh my gosh, they could have done so much better if only?
If only they reached out to me. If only we had that discovery call. The biggest, it's just having the conversation and setting the foundation exactly to what you're talking about, Amanda. And that's the first step, is just telling yourself, I need support, I need help. And I think that's the biggest thing. We think we can do it all and wear all the hats, and we just can't. That's not how you grow and scale. And I talk about that a lot. So that's the first thing. But rookie mistakes, not being consistent.
You can get really tactical too. You could just be you can be mean for a sec. Just be mean.
That's not me. No. I would say,
it's okay.
Consistency. So what I see sometimes is a coach coming in hot with hey, I have this, coming soon, get on the wait list. And then you hear nothing until they launch within a week. And you're
great point.
Right? That, why? That just feels so much, from my perspective, so much self-doubt. They're not sure of what they're doing. The consistency isn't there to build their community. And so that's a huge thing for me. That's a red flag. So I would say the lack of consistency is the biggest that I see. Another mistake is, again, asking everyone except their ideal client if a course is good, if I should do this topic.
Wait, I didn't catch that. Asking everyone except who if the course is good?
Your client, your prospective client, right?
Oh, your client,
yeah, right. Oh, sorry, that was a good cliffhanger. So it's it's asking everyone around you except the person who might purchase it or who you need to know more content or information from. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that
Also,
such an indicator?
right?
If you, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. People who come
Mm.
to me and ask me like, "Oh, what do you think?" And I'm like, "Well, what does your audience think? Have you talked to them or talked to a client?" So, that's a huge red flag for me.
Those are great. Those are really
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Yeah, and the consistency too. I love that.
mhm,
All right.
yeah,
Well, I'm going to put on the screen here where, actually, I'm going to put below. Let me get your, at least your website, which is the
yeah.
Planner Collective, isn't it?
Planner
It's
Collective
also
Co. Hmm.
Co.
Hmm.
Okay. I just
Yep.
want to spell it properly and get it up on the screen, which is also your Instagram,
Hmm.
correct?
Yeah. Yep.
And yeah, the Instagram page. And Jess Oles also runs a co-working space. Tell us a little bit about getting back into that space and
Yes.
how that's been.
Yes, I'm co-owner of the Nest Co-work Plus Club, and we're a female forward co-working space for entrepreneurs in our region here in Wisconsin. And during COVID and the pandemic, we were closed, and now we're reopened. So I'm here. I'm here at our space. So it's so great to be here. We're on limited capacity right now, but we're still working and it's just great to be here. It's great to be back.
Awesome. Yes, nice to be back. Good.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for letting us continue the conversation. And
of course.
this has been great. Yeah, as I said, guys, I'm going to put the direct link to Jess's actual contact page. Just because you can't cut and paste from this video, I'm going to put that in the comments below. It'll be the direct link. So if you want to have that conversation and go, this is the course, this I think is my goal, and this is what I think I should do. I bet you that's one conversation that you absolutely
Hmm.
want to have. And with Jess, and I'm going to put that in the comments below. And then my contact is right here, catalystcc.ca/book call. And that's our 45-minute really breakthrough call, which is all those questions, the entrepreneur ADD, how do I get decision making, taking action that this is even something I want to do and be now, and you have that drive and commitment, but no way to begin, or if you just need to rebrand and refocus as a result of what's been happening this last 3 months, that's where that call starts. So thank you so much, Jess. We have other things to talk about because you also talk to virtual summits and events. Everything's moving online. It's probably going to stay there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she's your girl. I'm sure we'll be back chatting with her another time.
I would love
That
that.
would be great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
awesome. Well, thanks for having me.
Wonderful. You're welcome, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Jess. Bye,
Bye, everybody.
everybody.